almost got it. Ha! Don't forget to subscribe. Hiya buds, my name is Ersalin, you can call me Ursa, and today we're gonna do another speed paint. It has been a little bit since I've done one of these. It's mostly just because they're kind of time consuming, and like for this one alone, I drew for about 4 solid hours, and it may not really look like it when you get to the finished product, but I did a lot of different things that I don't normally do. Like, I actually tried to shade and put a lot of detail instead of just, you know, my very minimal shading style and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just a little bit of a project to see what I could do and see how I can increase my, you know, my style and the way that I work on things. Anyway, so the main inspiration for this speed paint today is actually the Renaissance Fair. Now, a lot of you may not know this, but I have actually volunteered for the past 7, almost 8 years, if I am able to do it again this upcoming year, for my local educational Renaissance Fair. Like I said, I've been doing this for 7 years, almost 8 years. And I started when I was in high school. I really wish I'd had figured it out when I was like a freshman, but nobody told me about it until I think my second year of high school. So it was just, I don't know, there's something so magical about the fair that I just really wanted to encapsulate in this piece. And I didn't really know what I was going to draw when I started, which is why the speed paint starts with the sketch already being outlined, because I sat there for another solid hour probably just sketching and figuring out what I wanted to do. Was it a big scene? Was it a little scene? Was it one person? Was it, you know, what? So I ultimately decided on this sort of reclaimed theme where it's just a girl and she's on this peak overlooking the ocean, which is like filled with hues of red and yellow and just gorgeous sunset, but she's being reclaimed slowly by the forest behind her, and the roots are growing up around her, and her leg has actually become rock, and she's slowly turning into a statue and getting enveloped by this greenery. So that's kind of based off of the whole fantasy feel that Renaissance fairs have, with, you know, all the fairies and the lore that's mixed with actual historic figures and stuff like that. So yeah, that was my inspiration behind beginning this piece. And I've got a lot of stories about Ren Fair from the 7, almost 8 years that I've been in it. And if you go back on my Twitter, you can actually see some of the pictures of like my dress, my costume for the Renaissance Fair. I got this giant purple, well, it's more of a plum because purple wasn't legal unless you were royalty, so it's more of a dark plum dress that is a hoop skirt. And I will frequently be proud of the fact that I have climbed trees in my hoop skirt, and I'm still very proud of it to this day, and I will probably continue to bring it up in like Never Have I Ever, because I always get people with that. But yeah, if you go back on my Twitter, you can probably find some of those from last year's fair and, you know, get some pictures of that. The one downside about fair is that I can't really like vlog it or take pictures while I'm actually doing it, because I'm one of the people in the fair. Like, you don't just see this Renaissance lady pull out her cell phone and be like, "Hi guys, it's me at the fair. I've got my fairy box," because that's what we call the phones, right? Okay, yeah, you guys knew I was a nerd. This is just another level of nerdiness. But yeah, so I guess I kind of want to get into her backstory a little bit. You can tell by the time on this video that I wasn't able to cut it down super duper much, because as soon as I tried to do like 1,000 times sped up, you couldn't see my mouse anymore. So the shortest that I could get it was about the 40-minute mark. Yeah, it probably will be shorter than that for you guys, but if you stick around, I'm going to be talking the whole time. Probably going to do a Q&A at some point with some of the people on my Discord and read out the questions and answers to kind of fill up a little bit of that time, because, I don't know, I could just leave it so that you guys could watch the drawing process, and I'm sure I could probably be annoying to you by talking over it the whole time, but you can mute it if you'd like to. You could still watch it without me talking, but, I don't know. I don't want to be one of those people that just uploads a Speedpaint and just, it's only the Speedpaint and nothing else. Like, I'd like to imagine that you guys you're here for me and the art, so you're gonna get me and the art. Anyway, so, my backstory for her, she's, I like to think that this was a hero. Somebody who went out and fought dragons and saved people and became a big name out there in whatever fantasy world she's in. But she kind of ran into a little trouble when she wandered into this enchanted forest. And I am making this up off the top of my head while I talk to you because this was not in the back of my mind while I was working on this. So if I stumble over my words, that's why. Anyway, our hero. Let's call her Rhea? Yeah, I'll go with Rhea. Our hero, Rhea, is a very valiant knight, and she made her way into this enchanted forest without knowing that entering the forest comes with a price. She was in search of, you know, honor, things that knights are after, I guess, for her city, her town, her castle, whoever it is that she's fighting for. And she didn't realize that the moment she entered this place, she became a part of it. She wouldn't be able to leave. And because of this, the forest slowly overtook her. Over time, she realized that her skin was beginning to harden and turn into something like stone. Her, everything was just getting bogged down by these vines that would come out of nowhere and just keep her in a certain area. Right here is the moment where, you know, she's trying to leave, but she's on a cliffside and just can't go anywhere. Like, you know, we're gonna have to wait a little while to get the whole scene to come together, but that's kind of the little story that I have in my mind for this character. And, you know, it's kind of a bittersweet sort of thing, because she is this creature of adventure and exploration, and yet trapped in this enchanted forest of magic and detainment. So, yeah, maybe I can come up with something for that, can include it in one of the stories I'm writing. That'd be cool. Yeah, so I think that's a good explanation for this part. Let's see if I have any other things to talk about here. Okay, I got a few reactions to my Q&A, so I guess I'll go over those. Alex Torres asks, who is your favorite YouTuber and why? I actually have two, and it's not necessarily a YouTuber specifically, it's like the channel. I really like Random Encounters and GT Live. I know that's technically not, I guess it's its own standalone channel. I like Game Theory enough, but GT Live is just so chill, and I just really like Matt and stuff. They're really funny. As for Random Encounters, if you haven't checked them out, they do a lot of video game musicals. Like, I highly doubt that you haven't seen, like, you know, the FNAF musical series that they did, or like their Baldi's Basics musical was like huge, or their Granny's musical. I don't know, I just think that they're really creative. AJ seems like a really interesting person to know, and I don't know, I really love their music, and I love the way that they build a story around everything. So yeah, there's an answer to that question. The Masked One YT asks, what was / still is your favorite RP to do besides FNAF? I don't think it'll come to a surprise to anyone who watches Uni's channel that I have been a big fan of his channel and, you know, the hardcore quest since 3 years ago, before I even knew him personally. And I got the opportunity to help with the hardcore quests and voice act and body act in it, and honestly, if I had to pick a favorite roleplay, it would be the hardcore quest. That's not my roleplay, but it's got a special place in my heart, and it's wrapping up soon, and it makes me really sad. But Uni said I can help with whatever's next, so at least I can still, you know, be able to be involved with whatever it is he does. Uni's really cool, guys. If you haven't checked him out, really amazing artist, really fun stories on his roleplay for the hardcore quest. Very long series, but definitely worth it. Very zany. And he does like Gary's mod videos with, you know, John and Ashley and Nick and them. So yeah, there's my favorite roleplay. How did your I Am Daniel says, how did your series become canon to John and the famous films? Okay, so that's a little bit of a big question, because I don't want to do all of the FNAF related ones, because that's kind of this isn't really related to that, but it's still related to me, so I guess it's fine. But originally my FNAF series was planned for at least a year before John ever started doing anything FNAF related. Like, we had completely built another set on a different server, but we lost the server. So the set was lost, so it set us back. And by us, I mean me and my team. Anubis had helped me build the set, and he was hosting the server that it was on, and we lost everything. So because we were set back, I was ready to start my roleplay right after John had, you know, already begun his FNAF series. And, you know, we had already been friends at that point, and I was helping him. Like, the first FNAF location in his series, I built. Like, me and Anubis built that for him. So, you know, like, we were there, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing, and he's like, hey, we should collab and, like, make it a crossover in the same world. And I was like, okay. Because I would never have asked him. That's not the kind of person that I am. So the fact that he offered that is still really cool to me, and I think we did a really good job with it. It was really fun. And, you know, it had the side effect of linking my worlds to Brian's, which I am still surprised that happened, because for a long time, John and Brian's series were not dark at all. It was just happy-go-lucky, everything's good, we're just going to do running around and having fun and shenanigans with the animatronics. And then my story happened, and I noticed that they progressively got darker. So I'd like to think that I have a little bit of influence in that area by making my series, you know, intentionally FNAF-like. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved John's series and the way that he did it. How can I not? Like, with the people he had involved. I never really watched Brian's stuff, like, at all. So, yeah, I mean, it's not really my thing. But I think it was mostly because there wasn't really that much of a storyline involved. But, you know, I guess it was just kind of a cool side effect to be able to see, my storytelling approach influence other bigger creators. Because you guys gotta remember, when I started the FNAF series, I think I got like 20 views on the first like 5 episodes or something like that. It was crazy. It was really cool. I was like, dude, that's a lot of people. Now here I am, and it still confuses me to this day. So yeah, that's enough about FNAF. I'm not going to answer any other questions about that, because that's not what this is about. Dr. Crablight, pretty sure that's not his name. I guess it is his name. Do you have any channel before Ursa? No, I have never had another channel. Everything that I know has come from me helping other people with their channels. Like, I volunteered as a body actor for Corey or Newscape Pro back in the Minecraft heydays, or right after the Minecraft heydays, where it was slightly going downhill. Helped build, after that I was a builder for him, helped build a lot of those Undertale AU sets, if you remember those. I built a lot of the SCP stuff, and creepypasta stuff. That was fun. But yeah, from watching him, I learned how to do machinima and I guess directing and building sets, and basically I taught myself everything else, and here we are. Let's see. Midnight Angel asks, what would you have done if you never did roleplays? Probably be writing a book, but I'm also doing that, so like, actually I'm writing multiple books. I'm a slow author because I have a lot of things to do. But yeah, before I made any videos on YouTube, I was a author and did like, you know, like multiple projects that I never finished, but had good ideas behind them. So yeah, probably would have done that as my hobby instead. And, you know, still been in school, still been, you know, at my job at the supermarket, stuff like that. Probably wouldn't have been that different. Let's see. Do you have future plans? From Jessica Random. Not really. I mean, it really depends on what you're talking about. If you mean like for my life in general, not really. I want to try the YouTube thing, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, man. Especially right now with like ad revenue being so low, I don't think I could support myself. And my internet is so bad where I can only record in advance and upload at least the night before to have it come out the next day, because it takes me about 8 or 9 hours to upload a 30-minute video with how bad my internet is. Yeah, some of you people out there that can get that done in 30 minutes, please feel my pain. Anyway, yeah. Then the last question that they actually have asked is from Silver. Are you planning on future series besides just FNAF? Yes, and you might actually see one sooner than you think. So, let me put this in a way that won't scare you if you watch the FNAF series, but it's coming to a close soon. Not necessarily the series itself, but this quote-unquote season that we're in. It's been a very long season, but I count this as one season, so yeah. There will be something after that that will still be similar and carry on the same story, but that's all I'm going to say about that for now. You'll have to find out about that later. No spoilers from me. In addition to that, I have plans to revitalize an old project that only went on for, I believe, 4 episodes, and it was called Bubs and Wubs. We're gonna rename it to Sunglow, but it'll be a really exciting fantasy mystery adventure, and I think that would be fun. Even if not as many people watch it, it's something that I want to do, and it's something that's going to happen. So yeah, you can actually find the old episodes of it up on my channel still. They were some of the first, it was the first roleplay that I ever did, and it helped me a lot learning how to do everything. Sunglow was, well, not Sunglow, but Bubs and Wubs was the reason that I was able to learn to edit and, you know, do machinima bits and stuff. So that's where it all started, and we're gonna go back and revisit that and hopefully continue the story now that I have experience actually doing a series and being pretty consistent with it. So yeah, that's all for our Q&A section of this. And I still have another 20 minutes left. Lovely. I have no idea what I'm gonna talk about. I wrote ideas down on this little piece of paper, and I have no idea where it went. So oh, there it is. I'm gonna pick it up. Hold on. I guess I should check back in on my Speedpaint here. You can see it's kind of coming together with what I described at the beginning. I haven't really shaded everything yet, but there's the very dramatic sunset in the background, and the trees just hanging out there, looking cool. I used one of my brushes on those trees that I've never used on anything because it's a really weird brush. I later used it on some of the hair too. No, it was the grass, not the hair. But yeah, see those weird little things? I thought it looked kind of like bark, and when they're on the trees in the background and smaller, it wouldn't really make a difference. But I like that tree in the foreground with the vines wrapped around it. That's pretty neat. The hair gave me a difficult time, but that's just because it's hair. And, you know, hair doesn't behave the way you think it should. Anyway, I was talking about something else before that, wasn't I? And I wasn't even facing the microphone, so I hope the audio sounded okay for that portion. Let's see. Going on in the video, there's not much to talk about what's going on in the video right now. I mean, I'm just messing around with the hair. I tried my regular shading tactic, it looked terrible, so I undid it, and from here on out is uncharted territory. And I think it just works in my favor that the hair is incredibly messy and doesn't have to look perfect. So yeah, keep an eye on that as we move forward. And I don't want you to feel like I'm just trying to fill in the dead space. I am genuinely trying to keep a conversation going, but like not to the point of I don't embrace the silence when the silence works. Anyway, let's see. I might take a break for a minute and watch this and just comment when I think it warrants commenting. That's weird. You can't see what I'm doing there, but I pulled up the hue adjuster thingy. I guess because it's in a different tab, it doesn't show up on the recording. But it basically just lets me change up the color and the saturation and stuff. And that's what you saw me doing to the hair a minute or two ago. Here I'm just going over some parts of it that were drawn on a different layer because they had to go over the body. I used a lot of layers for this, and I'm not sure they were necessary, but I did it anyway, and it turned out fine. Honestly, at this point, I think it looks pretty good already. I mean, the root at the bottom is a lot lighter than it should be, but a lot of the colors work pretty well. I think this is a point where I got up and did something else, which is why it's not moving. I might need to cut that part out. Let me see how much longer it goes on for. Nope, it's back. Okay, never mind. I'm not cutting anything out. Yeah, I should, because this video is really long, and it's gonna take forever to upload. If I started at like 8 p.m. tonight, maybe it'll be up in time for me to post it sometime tomorrow without, you know, encroaching on my internet during the day. This new YouTube uploader thing, I don't like it. I really and honestly, I feel like it takes so much longer. Also, what you can see me do here is make a copy of the layer, make that copy of the layer darker, and then use an airbrush with invisible air, I don't know, transparent air, and just like go over it to make the highlights and lowlights without having to select anything. Does that explanation make sense? I don't think that explanation makes sense. I'm doing things that I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah. The actual, like, the rocky part of her leg that spreads up her body and, like, onto her face and arm, that's something that I added because, I don't know, it just needed it. I was trying to dapple lighting on the hair, it didn't work. You see me putting all the leaves, I'm trying to make it look like the shadows of the foliage from the trees is on her, and I'm copying out by using the leaf tool. And part of me feels like it worked, and the other part of me was like, I should have left it more illustration-y and less like blended. Does that make sense? Because that's my comfort zone, you know? I was really trying to break out of my comfort zone with this, which is why I tried it to begin with. You know, using brushes that I don't usually use, and, you know, trying techniques that I don't do, like blending and blending. Something about blending and like airbrush tool always makes it look so muddy and gross. And I don't know. I kind of like the cartooniness of my style, but at the same time I want to be able to do other things. I feel like I've kind of, I don't know, I found my style and I just kind of got lazy and just didn't do anything outside of it. And I found the style by making Minecraft skins, so I think that says a lot about me as a person and what I spend my time on. But yeah, we're just hanging out. If you're still here, hi. I appreciate that you're listening to me ramble. I don't know. I don't know what's so entertaining about it, especially since I'm jumping from topic to topic, but I hope that you are enjoying it enough. Maybe you're doing something. Maybe you're doing dishes or homework or something. But how are you doing? How you doing? You doing good? Leave me a comment below. Let me know how you're doing, what you're doing when you hear this question, because I genuinely want to know. Are you working on something? Are you just chilling? You just, watching YouTube videos and zoning out to the world? I do that a lot, not gonna lie. Like, when I have free time, I'm probably either watching YouTube or reading. I read a lot. I read a lot of things. I like reading things that people have, like, posted on, like, Fiction Press or Wattpad, that are their original works and I don't have to pay for them, which is cool. There's a lot of good authors out there. One of the reasons I really love interacting in the comments and talking to you guys is that, first and foremost, I've always been a writer and I love feedback. I love hearing what you guys have to say, and I just like talking to you. I don't know, it's just what I like to do. And I think it's really cool that I have the chance to do this, which is probably why I enjoy YouTube so much. Like, I used to write on platforms like Fiction Press, like I brought up earlier, and I would get so excited when I got one review on my story telling me it's something that was good, something that needed improvement. And then when I started YouTube, I just like really, really loved the instant feedback. The amount of comments and the ability that I have to just reply and, inadvertently make someone's day, because apparently not a lot of people reply to people. I never really thought about it that way. To me, you guys are commenting on something that I put a lot of hard work into, and the fact that you take time out of your day to, just say, I like this, or, you could have done this better. That genuinely, I don't know. There's just something about it that I really love. It's probably just the writer in me, like I said. I appreciate it. It's pretty neat. Are we actually getting to the end here? I think we are. I talked for like 30 minutes, guys. Wow. But yeah, I'm gonna oh my gosh, we're getting to my signature. I can't believe it. I think I talked pretty solidly that whole time. This is probably the least amount I've struggled talking during a speed paint. But yeah, here's the finished result. I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen for you guys of the entire image. But yeah, here it is. Elapsed time was 4 solid hours, probably a little bit over, or actually rather a little under, because I did get up a couple of times. My goodness. But yeah, this was the finished product. I think I named her Rhea. I don't remember. I didn't write it down. I just said it for the video part. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. This was really fun for me. I tried a bunch of different techniques that I've never used before, and I think it turned out pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts in the not the description. Only I can write in the description. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know how you're doing. If you got this far in the video and didn't skip ahead, let's have a code word. Type the word butterfly. We'll be spies. Say, the butterfly has arrived, and I'll take that as code as I did good. Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.